Really live in hell? And what is hell?
Back to demons. Where do demons live? Do they really live in hell? Again, we have to broaden our concept of hell here a little bit to use maybe more biblical vocabulary. The underworld, the realm of the dead. Okay. That is where you find in both testaments evil spirits. Again, we have to broaden our definition of demons because not every evil spirit is a demon. There are different kinds of evil spirits, different kinds of things going on. Demon, of course, is a term that we would use and that I would use to denote a specific evil spirit that has a very specific point of origin that we just talked about. But there are other things that are there. But again, the short path is, yeah, that's where they are sort of living, if we want to call it that. Really, I think we need to think of it sort of as a headquarters or an attachment or a place of departure, for what they do, a base of operations. And that is the realm of the dead. Now let's think about that a little bit more, because it sounds like it's like, a space station or something. In biblical thought, you have our world, the world of the embodied, and you have the spiritual world, the world of the disembodied. So in the spiritual world, it has its sort of own geography, even though, again, just look at the vocabulary we have to use. We have to use the language of place and height and depth and breadth and spatiality to describe a place that doesn't have any of those things. Okay, it's not the world that we could describe with physics or geography or geology. It's none of those things. It is the spirit world, but yet we don't know how to describe that without using that kind of language, that kind of terminology. So this is why when you get into the spiritual world and its descriptions, there are places. There's where God is. Okay, God has, look at the way God's home is described. It's a mansion, it's a house, he has a throne, he has a table where he invites guests. Okay, these are physical things to describe kind of what God does with whom he invites or who he opposes. And on the dark side is the same way. It's always described as a place that's dark or black. There's no light. There's no life. It's the place of death. It's the underworld. It's where everybody who isn't on the Lord's side ends up, divorced from his presence. Where his presence is, there is light and life. Where his presence isn't, you get the opposite of those things. And that's why these things are described the way they are. So where do demons live? They do not live in God's presence.